Hi YouTubers, UXO back here again. Today I'm going to work on my 30 amp power plug. I noticed that when you try to open the cap, the bottom of the plug seems to be separated from the travel trailer wall. Sorry about that. So I'm thinking the screws are either stripped. It looks like the two top screws have been replaced. So I'm just going to, I already took some of the caulking off before I started filming, just so I could see if it was, you know, just the caulking or something, but it's physically separating from the trailer. So I'm going to remove it. Power's all off in the trailer. Yeah, there's no bite to these screws at all. The bottom ones anyways. Yeah, they definitely replaced the top one. It was a thicker screw. So, yeah, see, the bottom screw wasn't even biting. So it looks like it goes right through the wall, and then so the back part of the wood is probably stripped out where the screw is not biting anymore. I mean, I could replace it with bigger screws like they have there, but this cap, when you open it, it really seals. Like when you close it, it snaps shut. And I think that was the problem, was over time, like when it clips, it's clipped shut really good. And it's, you see, so I think over time people pulling this thing open rip these screws out of the wood backing. So I'm going to take a look. I think, yeah, inside I can see the fuse panel in there, so I'm going to go inside and remove the fuse panel and just take a look around in there. Okay, so I'm back. I didn't bore you removing the fuse panel. Just 4 screws. There, there, and there. Like I said, the power shut off. So you take the front cover off first, and then you pull the fuse panel. I'll record it, put it back on so you can see. So there it is in there, the hole. See if we can get some light in there. Yeah. Oh yeah, see, there's a gas line running right in front of it. So yeah, and it's only the little outer fiberglass and the inner paneling that's was holding that on. So what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to put some nuts and a bolt. So 4 bolts with nuts on the back side with some washers to give it more bite when you tighten it down, so it won't pull that out anymore. So here's what I come up with. The original screws were 2-inch, which came right to the edge of the inside of the paneling. Unfortunately, I can't find a 2.5-inch screw or bolt, so a 2-inch, so I got a 2.5-inch. And we'll just do a little dry fit, see how much space there is on the inside. It should be about 1/2 inch, so just going to do a quick test fit inside, take a look, see what it looks like. Probably bottom one. So I'm just going to push it in there and go inside, take a look at it. So it looks like we have about maybe 1/2 inch, like I said, sticking out. So what I'll do is I'll put a washer around it first, and then put a bolt, or a nut, sorry, on the end, and that will give it much more gripping power to hold that whole panel, that whole plug in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off the excess caulking that was on there. I'm just going to use a little bit of mineral spirits on a rag to try to get the residue off around there. There we go. So it's pretty clean. So it does come with a rubber gasket already on it. I mean, it's not in terrible shape. It's in pretty decent shape. So I'm just going around and making sure I remove all the caulking from the actual frame and this rubber gasket, so that there's no old caulking residue. so that when I recock it around the outside after I put it on, it's nice and clean. Okay, so looks like it's pretty clean. Okay, so what I got the 4 bolts, 4 washers, 4 nuts with the nylon thread at the end so they won't vibrate out. I also picked up 4 end caps because that gas line is pretty close, so depending, I might use these or I might use these closed end nuts at the end, so if it does end up coming near the gas line, there's no hard corners for it to rub on. Line this all up. Just want to start them all to get them through the rubber gasket. Make sure the lid's closed is fine with those new heads on the bolts. Good. See what I mean about this bottom? This clip is really okay. It's pretty good. So the gasket looks good. So as I tighten that down, I will force that gasket to compress. And then I'll put a light bead of caulking around just the top part and leave the bottom open so if any water gets in there it can drain out. Okay, I'm going to go inside, try to get those bolts on. Well, I got it set up the best I can, the camera. You can see the 4 bolts. I'm gonna see if I can, this is a pretty tight little spot underneath the fridge and everything. So you see what I mean about how much the bolt sticks out, about 1/2 inch, and that gas line that runs above the top one. That's the one I'm worried about. If it starts, it doesn't actually hit it, but it's pretty close to it. So these nylon nuts, they only go on just a little bit with a hand tightening, and then you got to use a ratchet. So okay, I got them all on. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got my trusty helper out there. So, are you ready out there? Yeah. Okay.
Here we go?
Yeah. Thanks, babe. Okay, so it looks like it's all problem with that is that we're probably crushing the wall, so I can't make it too tight, but that looks pretty good. We'll check it on the outside. Okay, so doesn't move anymore. Gasket's compressed all the way around. I don't know if you can see that. Just making sure that it's I might tighten the bottom one up a little bit more. So you can see I put the little red protective caps on it, on all 4 of them. Sorry about the focus. There we go. So that since there's all kinds of wires in there, if anything to come in contact with the end of that bolt, it won't cause any fraying. Now the last part is to put this back together. Okay, so fuse panel going back in. There's 4 screws and then 2 screws that hold the cover plate on. So just when you put it back in, just make sure all the wires are not being pinched anywhere. And it's going to be a little stiff because I straightened some of these heavy duty wires, so it's going to be a little stiff to try to get it back in, but There we go. And then put the 4 screws back in. Don't over tighten them because this wood is easy to split. Now the cover. Gotta make sure you put the bottom guides into the bottom holes here first. That's it. It's all done in here. Okay, so I got it all recocked. Try to do a neat job, just make it look nice. On the cap, not that it matters. So it looks pretty good. Let that dry, and then the rest of that little stuff you can just use a putty knife and scrape it off. But it's definitely a lot more secure now. It doesn't move. See? And you can pop it open. Before, you had a hard time getting it because it wanted to pull itself out. That's another little project from UXO. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos.